step with that this summer. We just hope to kind of compound that and move forward with it.
Yeah, to echo what John said, I think for us, open door policy and having a selfless environment. So in terms of actual relationships, you have a different relationship with everyone in the building. But I think what's conveyed most importantly to the players and the staff is that we're here to support them however we can, and that's all we're here for.
I basically want to get you to elaborate and follow up on that same idea with Nikola. I mean, obviously he's the centerpiece of this organization or this team. Is it beyond open door with him? To what extent do you consult with him before you make major moves? I mean, is it on a need-to-know basis, or do you have active conversations? Where in that scope does it fall?
No, absolutely. I mean, having a good pulse on what the team is doing, what's happening behind closed doors, in and out of the locker room, I think plays a major part in that. Being able to talk to Nikola, being able to talk to Jamal as being the two kind of focal points of our organization. We told them be brutally honest with us. What do they need from us? What do they need moving forward? Like I said, we address those issues. And now we got to put it together.
I think it's important to understand that, they have such a unique perspective in this, so it would be crazy to not ask for their perspectives and opinions when things come up.
You guys, there's still a little bit of unfinished business potentially with this offseason with rookie extensions for Christian and Peyton. Where do you guys feel like you are with those? How hopeful are you that you can get deals done with them?
Yeah, we won't comment on any contract negotiations or extensions. But having said that, they both have huge roles coming up this year, and we feel like they're both ready to take a step, and we hope they're here for a long time.
With Christian, do you feel like he has sort of evolved into a part of this team's core at this point?
Yeah, Christian's a pedigree guy. I mean, he's won at every single level. He's got the respect not only within our organization, amongst our team, but across the NBA. Coming from the outside, coming back in, you saw what he was able to do in terms of setting a tempo and a culture for us. Like I said, Ben said, obviously we can't comment too much, but we have had preliminary conversations, and we hope to kind of build upon that in the next couple of days moving forward. But he's a large part of what we do, and we look forward to it.
You have an open roster spot going into camp. I was curious if you feel the need to get that filled at the end by this time the season starts, or what the plan is for that open roster spot.
I don't think we feel like there's a need right now. We feel comfortable with where we're at, and we'll keep it open for now, and we'll continue to assess.
Yeah, I just wanted with understanding the not wanting to talk about extension stuff, I was just curious how comfortable you guys are with Nikola's situation, contract-wise, extension-wise.
No, we feel good with that. I mean, we talked to him. He's in a good headspace. Obviously, like I said, we can't get into numbers or specifics, but he's in a good headspace, as are we. So we hope to, like I said, continue to further that relationship.
Maybe more of a question for Ben. The Gold has a new front office structure and coaching staff, and with the CBA making it so important for development, what's kind of your vision for the role the Gold's going to play for the Nuggets this season?
Yeah, it's a great question. The Gold has always been an integral part of our program here. We have a great owner in Steve Jabara. They do a fantastic job there. Ryan Bowen is the new head coach, and Chad Iskey's the new GM. Both those guys have been a part of the organization a very long time, and they know exactly what we're doing here. We'll see, who from our roster and the two ways go to the Gold. But if anything, we'll just have a more intentional approach to the synergy and the collaboration of the coaching staff and our coaching staff together. But it's always been important, so there'll just be an emphasis on continuing that.
Sorry, as a follow-up, do you foresee there being more of a replication of systems from Coach Adelman there? Is that one of the hopes, to have kind of the same system in both places?
It's hard to replicate what we have here in terms of a G League atmosphere. And Coach Adelman could probably speak to more of the details on that, but yeah, as much as we can replicate, we will. As much synergy as we can create there, we will. And it's been, as the GM of the Gold the last 2 years, it's been a huge point of emphasis the last couple of years to continue that. It's obviously there are challenges by it being in Grand Rapids and not closer to Denver, but we also feel like we have a really great atmosphere in Grand Rapids, and we feel lucky to be playing there because there's great fans, a great town, and a great group. So we do think it'll be important this year to focus on that.
You guys have had the most significant changes to your coaching staff in quite a while, and even outside of David with just the staff in general. What do you expect some of the newcomers to bring to the Nuggets that maybe we haven't seen in the last, however many years?
We expect, or anticipate rather, a lot of experience and energy. A lot of the guys we've hired and the DA's placed on the staff was kind of unique, where we've kind of gone a younger route to where we see that's kind of the area of focus that we need to have with this team. Something fresh, something new, but also being able to kind of reason and have better touch points in terms of what guys are dealing with in their daily lives, not just within the confinements of the court. So, we expect that. Guys have been in the gym all summer. Guys have had opportunities to get to know each other. Guys have gotten outside the box to get to know each other. So we feel we've really taken a big step with that.
For both of you guys, there's been a lot of change here, and obviously you guys have both talked about experience as well as youth. What are you most interested to see as this team unfolds over the course of the season?
One of the areas is just the accountability and the control our guys have taken over their own success. Have to commend Jamal Murray this summer for how he was really vocal in talking to the young guys, getting guys in the gym, whether it be here or playing pickup elsewhere. Really getting to know each other, understand what they need. And then again, just back to our young guys, they've really taken the step this summer in terms of development. We expect sort of a breakout year for some of our younger guys. You look at Jalen Pickett, you look at, Spencer, you look at Julian, you look at guys like that who've been in the gym. That's an area of excitement for us, so we look forward to it.
What were the sort of main goals for you guys when you went to Europe for some of the Eurobasket stuff, and what did you feel like was maybe the most rewarding thing about that trip, or what you were able to sort of get done just by being around a couple of your players out there?
I think purely just connecting with, we went to Latvia to see Nikola and the Serbian team, and then we went to Finland to see Jonas and the Lithuanian team. Purely just connecting with them. We hadn't met Jonas in person since we got him in the trade, so I wanted to sit down with him and talk to him about our roster and just kind of checking in with him as more of a human being. And then we had Augie Stojakovic was a coach for Serbia. Jason Miller was a trainer. So really just connecting and seeing those guys and checking out some fun basketball out there.
Let me ask you about Jonas just a little bit. After the deal was made, there was a lot of chatter that you might be here and might not. How did that process go? Was it easy? Was it hard? What was it?
Yeah, we won't comment on all the reports out of Europe. From us, it was a simple perspective. We traded for him. He was our player, and we had nothing but positive conversations about him joining the Nuggets. So from our side, it was kind of an easy perspective. Going over there and connecting with him and just kind of getting to know him more as a human being, it was just really healthy to spend time with him and talk to him about our team and how excited he was about our roster. So we just spent a lot of time talking about the roster and kind of how he fits in, and nothing but pure excitement from his perspective. Thanks.
You've mentioned that one of your points of emphasis this season is going to be details. What role do you think detail and precision plays with the success of this team, but especially in regards to fostering connection and trust?
Yeah, I think it's key, especially when you have this many guys on the team that can provide something each game, each practice, and that means less opportunity. So when you are out there, you have to take advantage of the time you have. So, and that's on the staff. We have to demand that. It's going to start tomorrow. I hate that we call this training camp. It's not. It's just 4 days of practice, and we play a preseason game. So we got to get going from the start. You don't have time to kind of build towards something. It's already starting. So yeah, and I thought it showed last year in the 2 rounds, the Clipper series and the Thunder series, when we were detail-oriented, when we controlled the pace the way we wanted to, whether that's with, getting up and down at home or slowing down on the road. The Clipper Game 4 is a great example of that, where we were very detailed early. We controlled their crowd. So that's got to continue, and you don't have experiences like that unless you do it from the start. So like I said, it's not just on the players. We have to demand it every day.
I have another one for you. Coaches have a lot of responsibilities they take on, have to wear a lot of hats: leadership, communication, offensive strategy, defensive strategy. It seems to me most coaches excel at 1 or 2 and try to delegate some of the other ones. What parts of coaching do you think are your strong suit, and who have you kind of assigned specific duties to in your coaching staff?
Yeah, it's a good question. I did the offense for so long, I think it's probably a misnomer to say that that's all I've done. So doing scouts in the past, I think the defensive part of it, doing that during the playoffs, was a great experience for me to get back to that. But, the staff was changed over this summer. Jared Dudley's a very talented coach. He'll take on the defensive responsibilities. And obviously Jared and I will work hand in hand with that. There's going to be guys underneath him, answering to him. And I think the hardest part of doing this as a new coach is understanding that delegation is so important. Because you can't do everything every day, and you got to trust the people around you. Bringing J.J. Barea in is a big deal for me. That's somebody that's seen it, done it, been through it. I know him well from the past. He'll be a great sounding board for me on the offensive side of it. And then all the guys that we brought back, young, talented coaches, they're all going to take a step up. And I think that's the thing is, with the new staff, you have to let it happen. I can think something's going to happen. But just like players, things are earned. With opportunity, you got to take advantage of that. If you do, you get more opportunity. And that's how I'm going to approach it.
Players tend to prefer simplicity and an understanding of what the expectations are and consistency there. But with you trying to put your own imprint on the team, as well as the new changes in the roster and the coaching staff, how much are you planning on installing that's going to be new, whether it's in training camp or throughout the preseason?
Well, Jokic will post up still. Jamal and Nicole will play 2-man games still. I think some of the things you saw in the playoffs will be things we do this year, changing up our defenses more. And I think offensively, it's important to keep trends that have worked, but also be very aware that the league is changing and how people guarded us changed. And so that's where the things will be different. And I said this last year, and I hate saying it like I'm a cheerleader, but it's also the vibe. It's not just the X and O's. It's, are you happy to be here every day? And I know some days are better than others. But I thought we had a good nature about us at the end of the season last year. And it's so easy to say as a player or a coach that you'll be unselfish this year because we're deep. But then to actually actively do it, I think that's going to be key. And so the schematic part of it, I'm very confident in the group I have down there and the coaching staff, very confident and the high IQ players that we have, that we added, and the guys are coming back. But there has to be a nature, a way about us every day just to get through those times. Because this conference is unreal, and we know that. And we're part of it. We're a problem. But we have to make sure that every day we're getting a little bit better, and it has to be a group effort.
David, when we last spoke to you, player development was a heavy theme in the organization. Since then, the front office has added some depth. I'm just curious if that equation has kind of changed for you at all in terms of how you look at the balance of winning games, developing?
Oh, no, development is always, it's a constant thing, and I give our staff so much credit. This season ended, but it never ended for a lot of the guys downstairs. And they kept this gym alive. It's been crazy competitive. Guys have been in here, they've worked, they stayed in Denver, and you see improvement. But part of the NBA is competition. And yes, new guys come in, but those guys have been around this league for a long time because they were developed. And so it just breeds competition. If you want to keep up, you got to be in here and you got to work. So we'll continue to do that. But obviously, the nature of the beast with a veteran team is you also have to maintenance them and make sure they get through the season. And it's one of those things where I can stand up here and say, like, we're gonna maintenance these guys as best we can, and we will. But the competition is going to be for real in the West. So there's a balancing act there that we have to, attend to. But I do think you're right. It never stops here, man. It's a fluid thing in the NBA. We know that. And I've been really proud of the guys that came back this year, because I know right now all we're going to do is talk about who's new, and we should. It's exciting. But the guys that came back have really put something into this. And that's good to see, because I don't know what's going to happen. These guys have to go out there tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and earn their spots. Nothing is given here outside of the constants that have been here for a long time. So excited to see the competition.
David, here in the far back. How does...
You're always in the far back, man.
Yeah, I got to work the camera too. How does it feel coming into your first full season as a head coach? You had the offseason to kind of implement everything that you wanted to do. What are the emotions like this year compared to every other year at the start of a season?
No different, other than I have to do this, to be honest. In the past, you're preparing for the first practice, how you're going to install things offensively, meeting with the staff, but instead you just have to communicate it to you guys. So that's different. And to be honest, this is all new for me, so I have no idea. So as we go through this step by step and go through the process, it's easier to answer. Kind of like last year, I didn't know going through the playoffs what it would be like for me. But I feel really good about the start because of what the front office did this summer. I thought the communication was great, with Josh helping them and obviously them reaching out to me. But they killed it. They went out and they provided things for us to be a better team. I'm just kind of going day by day with this thing. It's just like stuff at home. It's the same thing. So I'm excited to get going tomorrow, though, man. I'm excited to see these guys put the jersey on and play.
Coach, you mentioned changing defenses. After you took over from Michael, the team played a lot more zone defense. I was curious, have you always been a proponent of playing some zone, and how much we might see that this year in terms of going up against other teams?
Yeah, I'm a proponent of playing zone when you can't play man sometimes. We played two really good teams, and I think some of these guys are so special as players. I said this during the playoffs, that you have to throw them different pitches. They have to see different things, and I think we can get better at it at bigger moments if we do it more consistently. That doesn't mean we're going to do it every game, but I do think it'll be an important part of what we do. And I think changing defenses, it's easy to say you can always do it with every team you have, but we happen to have a very high IQ team, as I said. So, that lends me to believe that we can do it. Teaching it's one thing. The players believing in it, being consistent with it is another. So it'll have to be a thing we work on daily, or times that we can try to be sharp with it. Because I saw some really good moments last year in the playoffs, rewatching those games, and I saw us struggle as well. So there's things we can clean up to make it better, and we have a whole season to do that.
I'm glad you brought up vibe, because at the risk of oversimplification, I think you got this job because the vibe was bad. And you retained this job because the vibe got much better. It's a long season. I saw a frustrated team when you took over. How do you establish vibe, maintain vibe day to day, and how do you keep a team from getting frustrated when you go through those inevitable tough stretches?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty much the only thing we talk about when I meet with the players for the first time is how are you going to handle it when it's not your moment? And can you be consistent with wanting the team to do well? And I understand that part of sports is, individual drive. But to do something special, there's times where you have to take a step back and let somebody else take their step forward, knowing that if you stay with it and you work at it, your opportunity will come again. And if we can be consistent with that, and obviously I have to demand it, and like you said, words are words. Actions are what really matters. And I thought we took a step back in that department, and I thought in the playoffs, I thought guys were there for each other, but it's much easier to do that in the playoffs. You know, can you do that throughout the year? And I imagine, and I'm not going to speak for other coaches in the Western Conference, but we're not the only deep team in the West. And so I think a lot of teams are going to be dealing with that. Like, how is your locker room sustaining through the season? Because that is so key. This is just about winning games. You know, and if you can win games, then you get to the fun part, and everybody buys in. You know, so I can demand it with my voice, but I think it's up to the players too. I think they have to show some leadership. It's not just the coaching staff that changed here. Leadership in that locker room is changing. And guys aren't here anymore that were veteran leaders. Our veteran leaders are now the fun guys used to watch play. It's Jokic, it's Murray, it's Gordon, it's Christian. Those guys have to step up, and they have to demand that from the locker room as well. That's not a cop-out. That's just the truth. Your best players have to demand what the vibe will be daily. They can't go into a shell and only worry about how they're doing throughout the season. They have to maintenance their team as much as I do. And that'll be a group effort, but it'll be my job to manage that through the year to get the best result possible.
David, kind of building on that, John shouted out Jamal as a guy who was communicating with the younger guys, kind of getting people involved over the summer. What did you see from Jamal in that aspect, and how meaningful do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I guess everybody changes yearly. Sometimes more positively, sometimes more negatively. Jamal had an amazing summer. He looks good. I think mentally he's great. I give him so much credit in Los Angeles. The guys got together. You know, a voluntary action to come play in LA and just kind of get a feel for one another. But it's not just about getting on the court together. It's about going and hanging out, grabbing something to eat, possibly a drink. So it was good to see Jamal take the lead on that. And it's always cool to see when the veteran guys, you know, involve the two-way players that were there, that they have no relationship with. And that's key. And it's going to be key this week as well. As much as I want to see competition, who stands out with this group and who's going to earn the minutes, it's almost more important they get together and get to know each other. And the second things become cliquey in life, things suck. And so we have to make sure that we are not that group, that we're consistently together, hanging out together, not going into our rooms and shutting the door and never talking to each other until we get to the court. That's a big deal to get through a long season in a really talented conference.
Hey, David in the back. Obviously, it was a sprint when you took over, so you're just trying to get through it. But beyond talking to your dad, and I know you're talking about TV and other stuff, have you talked to Michael Malone at all over the summer? And what other coaches, head coaches, or coaches you've had long relationships with, did you reach out to kind of pick their brain on how you want to approach things?
Yeah, I mean, Coach reached out when I got the job officially just to congratulate me, which is really cool. It says a lot about him. I've had relations with Spo for a long time. And I kind of go back to the people that taught me the game. Those are the people that have kind of gave me the standard of what I think it should be like. And so I kind of stay in that vein. But then beyond that, I think I'd say every coach in the league, like you're constantly exploring and trying to educate yourself through film. And so maybe that's not a conversation with them, but you're learning from them. And anybody that says that they're just going to stick to what they do every year is probably not going to succeed. And our league is just constantly changing and adapting. I even had guys, our video guys, look at stuff from 15 years ago, different coaches, late game plays, late game ideas. So, constant education is what this is all about. And you have to humble yourself and realize that what you really knew a lot about one day may be outdated the next. And that's really important to, stay there always, always be actively aware of what's changing and get better from it.
David, just to follow up on Jamal, the trend with him has been slow starts to seasons and then sort of growing into it and catching his stride at a certain point. Has there been anything that you've emphasized to him or that the team has just sort of emphasized to him in terms of trying to sort of buck that trend this year?
I think the best way to buck trends is not to think about what happened before, and that what happened before already happened, and this is a completely new thing. So it's that's how I see it. I mean, you learn from everything in life, but sometimes part of learning stuff is forgetting about it and moving on. I think for him, this is, like I said, a completely different year. New teammates, new locker room, a new chance to lead differently. And I think from what I saw this summer, he has a lot of momentum going that way. And I want to make sure that it's not Jamal's start. It's not just about Jamal. It's about how the team starts. We have to find ways to win games early. The schedule's tough. And every year you think the schedule's really hard because every year you have no idea what teams are going to be like. But it sure as hell seems hard from looking at it. And I think the most important thing is just team success, the wins and losses. And, Jamal's success will come with team success, in my opinion.
Which you guys acquired Cam Johnson, who's a really solid player. How do you
more than solid, man. Yeah, go ahead.
How do you plan to integrate him into the team, and what do you see his role being for this group?
I think the brilliance of Cam is that he won't have to be. I think he just plays the game the right way. He fits the style that we've played over the years. He's another ball handler. Excuse me. I think in Brooklyn, they didn't win a lot of games, but he had the chance to put the ball in his hand a lot, where I thought in Phoenix he was kind of a 2-dribble, 3-dribble max guy, and for good reason. I mean, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, that team was incredible. So the Brooklyn experience for him, I think, worked out, and it worked out for us because we get a guy. We talk about player development. Sometimes player development happens in games and different teams you played for in different seasons. Cam's an exciting, add. He's just such a high IQ basketball player. And on that note, I never really got the chance to say this, but for Michael Porter, man, Michael Porter won a championship here, and trading him was good for us financially. Got a good player back, all those things, flexibility. Mike was incredible for us. And over the years he spent here, what he went through with his body, what he gave to the city of Denver, and what he's given to social media right now is something. So we're going to miss Michael. We're going to miss the uniqueness of him. And, just remember that, everybody that moves on from this, there's a banner hanging in that gym, and he was a big part of it.
You mentioned the depth as being a big thing that you have to figure out this season. One of the other things that's been consistent with this team is the struggles of the bench, particularly in the non-Nikola minutes, but even in some of the Nikola minutes last season. What is your approach going to be for building out the plan for the bench to try and mitigate some of those problems?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest challenges at camp is I'm not worried about how the starters are going to flow together. It's just trying to find the right group with that second unit. And I really mean this. It's a shame that it's only 4 days and then 2 games and you get off days because you got to travel. And because we got to figure that out. We got to figure out what group works the best together. And then there's the next layer of that is which starter can flow back in with that group and be successful. And it doesn't have to be Jamal or Nikola. It can be a Cam. Maybe Cam flows well with Tim and Valanciunas. And who plays well with Jonas. That's key. I'm not going to forget that Jalen Pickett played really well at the end of the season last year. Peyton Watson's minutes in the playoffs. So it's not just the additions, it's who plays the best together. And that's the great thing about depth is you get to find out, but the hard part about depth is you got to have an opportunity to see it play out. We can't do what we've been doing these last couple years. I mentioned this in the playoffs. I think the last time we really had a solid go-to bench guy was DeMarcus. And it was a short period of time with us, but a guy you can really play through. So we got to find a style. That's up to me. I have to give them a system, a stylistic way of playing. Is that a high-level defensive team that turns people over? Do we play through Jonas in the post? We have catch-and-shoot players, that we didn't have before. So it's up to me. I got to find the right group that flows well together because that's a key. You're right. We can't be minus 12 every night in those minutes. It's just a killer. And we rarely blew people out because of that. And when you do that, you run your guys into the ground. And then the playoffs come and you're back playing guys 40 minutes a game. That just can't be the case, and that's up to me.
Coach, on that note, you guys added Jonas this summer. It's an important kind of change, I would guess, stylistically for a backup center position that's had different guys in the past. Just what are you excited about with Jonas to be able to use him? And is there a possibility that you use Jonas and Nikola together?
Yes. I think what he brings to us is a go-to post-up player. Proven commodity, incredible offensive rebounder, very underrated dribble handoff guy, can play second side. I thought he really did a good job. I know a lot of people didn't watch Sacramento play at the end of the season, but when Sabonis was out, he filled in, and they ran their offense the exact same way, which is a major compliment because we all know how good Sabonis is. So, no, we're going to play through that guy. I have to push the limits of what he can do. I think there's things that maybe he wasn't allowed to do with other teams that he can do with us. And just having a solid veteran player that's played in enormous games is a big deal. And then, to answer your question, those two guys will play together at certain points. I think changing defenses allows that. I'd like to see how people guard those two guys. I think that'd be a very interesting decision of who you put on who. You put a smaller guy on Valanciunas, he's going to completely destroy him on the offensive glass, and we all know what Nikola can do, shooting the three and spreading the floor. So you can do different things, those two guys. And that's back to the earlier questions. That's the whole idea of unselfishness. If I'm going to play those two guys together, sometimes someone's not playing, and they got to be okay with that if that leads to wins. Yeah, we have to exasperate the roster, see what we can do with it. It's nice to have depth, and it's more fun to try things and see what they do, with respect to how other teams can deal with it.
Coach, you talk about the veterans role in the locker room. Over the years, we've seen glimpses of speeches and celebrations in the locker room. How would you describe your personal communication style in the locker room?
My communication style, it matters the situation. I mean, I think I get along with the guys. I don't know what they say about me when I'm not in the room. I would say, kill them with sarcasm and kindness and film sessions. No, I don't know. I haven't gone through the whole season. Back to the question about the 82 games. I've never done that. I've talked to the team every day during a regular season, but this will be a learning experience for me too as we grow together as a group. So it's not about an individual in that room. It's about how we all come together, how cohesive we can be. My voice is a part of that. The assistant coaches' voices are a part of that. And like I brought up earlier, the players' leadership and their voice is a part of that too. So I'm just part of this. Excited to be part of it, excited to get going, but, probably a question I can answer easier as the season goes on.
Out of this training camp, what sense do you get from the group's energy so far?
I've seen about 80% of the group so far. Obviously, we had guys playing in Eurobasket who I have not seen since the end of the season and/or new players. But the group in LA was great. This gym, like I said, I know media's not in here for the most part, but it was high level in here. One, I think the guys like each other, but the other part of that is I think everybody senses what this is, and competition is for real here. That led to a lot of time together, and that's a good thing. Competition's a good thing. Guys getting along is a good thing. But like I said, you have to maintenance that throughout the season. You can't go solo. You can't go out on your own. Got to stay together throughout. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Jamal, you got a lot of credit from the front office and the coaching staff for leading the charge with like organizing workouts and being vocal with the young guys. Just curious what kind of sparked that for you and what that experience was like for you this summer, getting the group together.
Just trying to win a championship. You know, it was, you know, when you lose, you try to find some motivation and the will to get back in there and really start something fresh. And, you know, the front office made some moves. We got a lot of new faces, so I just, you know, we need to, you know, put our best foot forward as a group and try to get the job done.
Jamal, in 2021, you're injured. 22, you're rehabbing. 23 is the championship year. 24, you're banged up play with Team Canada. Did this feel like a different opportunity for you this offseason? And was there anything you were able to change about your approach or what you accomplished?
I'm just rested, you know what I'm saying? Like, after, you know, Team Canada and all that, just not having, you know, my body, not having time to, like, you know, get back into shape or running shape and stuff like that, like, you know, that really affected me. So just being able to have time off, be able to build back up, you know, stuff like that, you know, tone down going into the training camp, all that's huge, you know, so I just feel a lot better than last summer. So that's always positive, and I'm sure everybody else, you know, feels the same. You know, we've had a longer off season than usual, so like I said, we're all ready to get going, and we're just trying to put our best foot forward to knock her down.
How do you get the team to be as connected as they were in the championship year, and what do you think your responsibility is in getting the team to feel that way and accountable for all the things that matter?
Just don't overthink it, just play. You know, we have a great group of guys. We all like to be with each other. We all like each other. We all enjoy playing the game as well with each other. So don't overthink it. Just go out there, hoop, have fun, you know, sacrifice, and then we'll be fine. You know, I think, like I said, just don't overthink it. Just go and play basketball, go play hard, come ready to play. It's going to be competitive training camp, so we're all excited for that. So, yeah.
Jamal, in the back, did you make any kind of changes to your workout routine at all? Did you change anything with diet? Did you get stronger? Did you change? I'm just curious how you, because you had so much time and weren't obligated to do other stuff, did you add or try new things?
No, just took a good period of time off, and then had time to work myself back into working out, which was nice, and yeah, so here we are, ready to go.
Jamal, with the duo of you and Jokic, you know, having so many years together, what would you say is something that you two can grow on heading into the season?
I think talking between each other. You know, on the court we have such a special connection, looking at each other without passing, and just reading each other's emotions and reading each other's game at the point of where the game is at. You know, we do such a good job without having any real conversation. So I think our next step is just, you know, leading this team and being more communicative to them together. And just, you know, talking stuff over that we like, that we see. You know, sometimes we do it, but it's very brief and it may be effective. I think we can be so much better just doing stuff, you know, more collectively and having more heads involved.
Jamal, way in the back. How different does the start of this season feel with David being the head coach for the first time and not having Michael Porter Jr.? And how exciting is it, this kind of fresh start, it seems like?
Yeah, we miss those guys. Talked to Mike the other day. It's just the nature of the business, you know. So we have a lot of new faces, just kind of different energy, I guess, and we're ready to get going. You know, there's a lot of build up to get to this point and work to get to this point, and now we're here and we just want to make the most of it. So, you know, the start of the season is very important to us. So the training camp is going to be a lot of fun and a big test for us to see how ready we are.
Hey, Jamal, over here. I know that you have some sessions with some of your new teammates and some teammates since August. How important was that to, you know, get prepared to this new start of the season? How you approach with these teammates, with these new teammates? How was that, and how was that experience before training camp?
Yeah, it's good. You know, I think everybody just coming back mentally fresh. I think is huge. I think everybody just having their own time off to do what they want and feel how they want and think about what they need to think. I think that's huge. So, again, they see the guys, play with them in LA. There was a lot of guys there, so that was a lot of fun. And just spend time off the court and in a different state and all that. So I think that's going to carry on to the regular season, to training camp, just everybody be prepared and connective and with a common goal in mind. So, like I said, we're off to a great start, in my opinion, and we just need to continue this. We can't let little stuff derail us or whatever it may be. So, like I said, we're just locked in, ready to go.
Jamal, you talked a lot about the new guys and the new vibe that's happening with this basketball team right now. What are you most excited to see unfold with this basketball team, and is this by far the deepest it's been since the championship season?
I'm just focused on November, honestly. I know you guys have to talk about all year long and stuff, but it's September 29th, right? Training camp hasn't even started yet, so that's what I'm worried about. That's what we're focused on, and we're about to see. To answer all your questions, we're about to see in the next couple of days.
Jamal, if I remember correctly, I think Cam was out there in LA with you guys playing, so I know it's a short amount of time, but just what are your first impressions in terms of how he fits into what you guys do?
He's all around. He can do a little bit of everything. He can shoot it, he can dribble better than I thought he could. He can get to the rim, he can defend, and on top of that, he's a great guy. He's willing to learn, and he loves the game, and yeah, so I'm excited to see how he fits in. I think he'll fit in really fine. I think he'll be our leading scorer a lot of nights, just benefiting off the movement that we all have and the cutting, and he's not going to be expecting the kind of passes that we'll throw. So I think it's going to be a great system, great role for him, and gives us a great chance to win.
Jamal, obviously, beyond just roster changes, DA, full coaching staff looks pretty different for the most part. How important is it kind of to have had a little bit of time around some of those new assistants and just sort of establish a rapport with them in the gym, wherever it may be, in terms of just kind of having a comfortable relationship, I guess, going into a season with a new group of people rather than just a new head coach?
Yeah, it's good. Anytime you got somebody new to work with, you want to try to set out a good impression and go over the stuff that you care about, that you're want to be intentional about. So I think everybody that's come in has just kind of said their piece and kind of introduced us to what they're going to be talking about in training camp and all that. So, like I said, we're just excited. We got some new faces. We're going to have new conversations. We're going to do things a little different now. So, like I said, it's going to be fun. It should be fun, and excited to build a new relationship with these guys.
Jamal, you're going to be 29 in February, I think, if I did the math right. Does that add to the urgency for you, and then seeing how a little shuffle with the roster, the better depth, Mike moving on, does that add to any urgency for you personally?
Yeah, we're trying to win. Trying to win every game that we go into. Every month that we play, every team that we play, we're trying to win. So if that's not the mindset, then I don't know. So.
Jamal, thinking back on the OKC series, obviously they went on to win the title. Just what were some things that you think the team sort of lacked towards the end there that you're hoping to improve going into this season?
I take that with a grain of salt. We didn't have a head coach, for a while, and that, obviously just trying to change things up a little bit, just the tone in the locker room and how we went about things and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. The fact that we made it 7 games, made it really competitive. I think we lacked a little bit of structure. We were playing very random, and it was really effective. I think going into this year, having a full year to prepare and do things David's way, I think it'll be a better year all around, instead of just a 4-game regular season stint in playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully this next couple of months gives us a chance to prepare for those playoffs visually, and we'll get to see what kind of changes we need to make.
Jamal, ESPN's top 100 players ranking had you sleeping for 2 consecutive years. What's your reaction to that?
What?
Top 100 players ranking had you sleeping for 2 consecutive years. What's your reaction to that?
It's good, I guess. Solid.
You always talk about how you want to win the championship, but over the years, Nuggets fans always see you as an all-star player. Has been going to an all-star still a goal at this point?
Oh, of course. Always. I'm just focused on having a really great November, though. You know, that's my biggest thing, having a great November. So I think we just start there. I think we'll get off to a great start.
Jamal, you've played against Jonas Valanciunas a lot over the course of your career. Having a player like that on your bench is a huge addition. What do you see him and your, working relationship on the court being? As you know, I know you've played off the bench, or not off the bench, but with the bench guys quite a bit. What do you see that kind of relationship being with that unit?
I think Jonas is really underrated in a way. You know, when you play, like when he was at New Orleans and Sac, like he's just, one-on-one, maybe for a little bit, but he's such a big body and he's so consistent down there and strong and gets his own rebound if he does miss. I think he's going to be just a problem for the other team, and the other guys that we have around whoever's in the game. I think we can get real, really tricky with the lineups and different stuff like that. So I think it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, he's going to be a bull for us down there. I think he's going to be a great screen setter and dribble handoff guy. Somebody that's going to be very hard to go under, and if they go over, it just plays into our advantage. So I think it's going to be really fun playing with him, and kind of similar to like hopefully when I get out there, kind of similar to like when Enes Kanter was playing with Dame, and just everything was at half court when they're setting the screens in the playoffs, and it was really tough to stop. I think we can kind of add some of that with the mixture of Yoke and Val in there, and maybe even playing them together or something like that. So I think it should be cool.
Hey Cam, a lot of talk so far about the summer work the team has put in, getting organized, playing together. For you as a new guy, how beneficial has that time been, and how important do you think that work is starting now, even before training camp?
Yeah, very. Just getting to know everybody, how everybody plays, the type of stuff that we're going to run, and just building that general camaraderie.
Last year, you expanded your aggressiveness as a scorer off the dribble. Was that difficult to sort of rewire your brain to being more aggressive in those moments? And do you foresee it being difficult to maybe balance now keeping that while also fitting into a team that has a lot of offensive options?
No, not at all. It was fun, actually. Being able to be put in those situations and try to figure out how to score, how to generate shots for my teammates, and how to keep the offense moving. And I don't think it'll be a problem. And what I'll do here. I'll play my game, try to complement the guys that we have, and at the end of the day, it's all about winning, man. So just doing whatever it takes to win.
What would success look like for you here? Obviously winning, the team winning, but for you personally, how would you like best to contribute to that if you could pick?
It's a tough question to answer simply. Just do what I do on a nightly basis. Bring an element of shot making, an element of defending, and just being a connector, somebody that the team trusts, the coaches trust, that my teammates trust, and trying to spin that into as many wins as possible.
Cam, with you being new to the city of Denver here, what are some of the things you've done to acclimate yourself to the city if you've had time? And what would you say some of your favorite aspects of Denver?
I golfed a little bit with some of the guys, walked around the zoo for a couple of minutes the other day. Drove around a bit, got stuck in traffic on 25. I think that, that's one of the big things about it. Took that long drive to the airport a couple times. But it's a cool city. People are cool. Everybody in this building's been great so far, and I'm excited to be here.
Cam, you're coming off your best year statistically. You played 57 games. What about durability? How many games would you like to play this year for the Denver Nuggets? How many do you feel like you're capable of
77
playing?
plus. 77 plus is my goal. Last year, the 57, it was not ideal by any means. Some of it was circumstantial, some of it was unfortunate. But I'm definitely looking to exceed that 75 mark and be available. I think that's a big thing. And, I did a lot in the offseason to make sure that I'll be in a position to do that.
Cam, welcome to Denver. Just in the modern NBA, it just feels like versatility is so much more important now. Just your level of versatility that you think you can bring to this team, and then how important it is just stepping back into playoff basketball.
That's one of the things I pride myself on. Being able to do a lot of things on the court, being able to fill a lot of roles, and being able to complement whoever else we have out there. And I've been on the court a lot of times with a lot of different players over the course of my career, and my specific role has evolved multiple times, and it'll evolve again. But at the end of the day, it's all about just contributing to winning.
Cam, the current Denver Nuggets roster have many great three-point shooters. Last season, Aaron Gordon has 43 shooting percent. Jamal has been consistent, and some other good guys. So far in practice, who do you think is the best shooter in the team?
I'm going to take myself out of the equation. Obviously, Jamal is a talented scorer, shooter from all over the court. One guy to really keep an eye on, though, is one of our young guys, one of our rookies, Curtis Jones. He can really shoot the ball.
Cam, here in the back. We heard Jamal talk about playing random basketball towards the end of last season, and that even working for them a little bit. I've heard you talk about the game in a very scientific, really structured approach. How do you feel like your game is going to mesh with sometimes the attack mode or even the randomness that these guys have played with over the years?
Well, I think at the base of it, it's high IQ guys that know how to play basketball. And so when you start from there, just being able to read off what they're doing and fit in from that perspective, and just figuring out what makes us score, what makes us defend, how do we play in transition, how do we play out of certain sets, and then from there just kind of assimilating into that and kind of adding to it what I can. And but like I said, man, I think it's about the IQ that we have in the building that I'll be able to play off of easily.
Cam, obviously Nikola and Jamal are one of the best two-man duos in the league, and you saw it yourself when you were in Phoenix quite a bit. How do you plan to use some of the playmaking skills we saw in Brooklyn and kind of link and bridge those two guys together and make a more comprehensive offensive attack for the team?
The biggest thing about last season in Brooklyn is I was put in kind of a position to read a lot of the game in different ways than I had in the past. And so I would go through games and, you can do practice reps, you can work on it, which I had my entire career, but actually getting in the game, getting pick and roll reps all game, getting handoff reps all game, and learning what's working and what's not and how teams are guarding it and how to combat that. That was really beneficial for me. So just taking that knowledge and being able to use it when it's necessary, when it's needed. Then obviously you guys know a lot of my career, I have been relocating around the arc and cutting towards the basket to just play off of other players. So just combining those elements, not necessarily forcing anything, letting the game come to myself, and then again, just playing off the guys that we have.
Cam, way in the back. There's been a lot of talk already about just the vibes of the team, vibes in the locker room, all that stuff. How have you noticed the vibes? What has been your read on the atmosphere and the camaraderie and the vibes of this team?
Just guys that really overall get along pretty well. Doesn't really matter who's in the locker room at any given moment, who's on the court at any given moment. It's lively. People are talking, conversating, having fun. And that's awesome to have, I know a lot of these guys have been here for a while, and some other guys are new, and we got Bruce back there who's kind of making his comeback. But everybody seems to get along, and everybody seems cool. Everybody in the building's been great, and so the vibe around this gym has been really good the last month or so.
Cam, when you were talking about wanting to play 75, 77 games, I think you said you might have done some stuff differently this offseason. I was just curious if you could expand on on what kind of things you were doing to put yourself in the best position possible.
Well, let me clarify there is that obviously 82 is always the goal. I was just trying to give myself that little wiggle room so that one game, you know, they're like, you already missed it. You know, last season, I think I missed a good couple week span with an ankle injury, right? An ankle injury that occurred with 1 second left in the game against Milwaukee, going after a loose ball to finish the game. I ran into a teammate, stepped on his foot, and there went that month, you know? So some of the things you can't always control, but from the things I can control perspective is just making sure that everything's solid. Everything, strength is in the right spot, aerobic conditioning's in the right spot, and everything that filters down. And then with the rest, just pray for health and keep on working.
Cam, you've been at this level for a while now. You've played on some good teams and some not so good teams. During your time in the league, what have you learned about the essential components of what leads to success and winning as a team?
There's a lot of things. One thing that I've seen is that when a system is adopted throughout the team and a culture is adopted throughout the team, from top to bottom, 1 to 15, everybody knows their role, everybody knows what they're supposed to do, everybody knows how to execute offensively, defensively. That is kind of the base of it. I think that really good teams that I've been on, you just step into a game with a sort of confidence in the talent that you have on the team, but also a confidence in the game plan and how you're going to execute it, and how quickly you can get into sets, how you can respond to adversity, how you can defend. What is the specific game plan for defense, and do you have a knowledge of the personnel you're playing against? Those are the things that have really kind of been the basis of good teams, and then talent kind of takes you the rest of the way.
Hey Cam, welcome to Denver, over here. Cam, you talk about what can you contribute to this team to be better, but what can you think you can get from this team or any specific player to improve your game and be better as a team in this new era?
What can I do to contribute to that?
No, what can you take from your team, from from the Denver Nuggets to improve your game, to build this new team?
There's stuff you can take from everybody. There's stuff I can take from every teammate that I've had in the NBA. There's stuff that I can take from coaching staffs that I've had, players, teammates that I've had. I think a lot of it for me this year is going to come down to just finding a rhythm with the guys that we have on the team. I'm not anticipating a situation where I have the ball in my hands 90% of the time. It's going to be something where I have to learn to read and react. I have to learn how to take advantage of opportunities and make the most of it. We got a lot of guys that you can learn a lot from various aspects of the game on this team, and that's what I love to do. That's one of the biggest parts of it for me, is just trying to get better mentally at the game as much as physically.
Hey, Cam, in the back, even though you're from Pittsburgh, you told us you're a huge Bengals fan, so how bummed are you that you have to miss the game tonight, and do you think your team without Joe Burrow has any chance against the Broncos? How do you see it playing out?
It's a great question. Yeah, I was definitely bummed. I was hoping to, of course, the day we're leaving is the primetime game in Denver. That sting went away a little bit when Burrow went down. Last week was tough for us Bengals fans at Minnesota. So, I'll be watching from a distance, hoping that we can maintain. I got faith in us, but ultimately I'm not the one that's going out there throwing passes and making tackles. I'm not scoring any touchdowns, so I wish him the best. But it's Denver territory here too, so I'm not going to say too much. All good? Thank you, guys.
At what point in your departure, your time away, did it click for you that you still wanted to be a Nugget? Did that ever leave for you at all?
No. I think it clicked really fast.
I think Indy was great for me when I was there, but it was only 3 months that I was there. And then once I got to Toronto, I think we were on 2 different roads, right? They were rebuilding and trying to build their team up. And I think I was past that time. So I think right away, as soon as I got there, I thought about coming back.
For both of you guys, just what initially kind of led you here to Denver, and especially for Tim, just what were some of the things watching from afar that you were hoping for, that you expected, and that you saw to make it reasonable?
I mean, watching from afar, but also just competing. Style of play. Everybody's moving around the ball. It's nonstop. It's basically out there. It's basically sharing the wealth. You know, all you gotta do is just make the right play, time after time and after time again, and great things will happen. So that's definitely one of the reasons why I decided to come here. Yeah.
I mean, for me, you know, style of play, the ball never stops moving. Everyone touches the ball. Everybody feels involved on the offensive end, and then playing with one of the best players to ever play the game makes the game so simple for you and your teammates.
For both of you, first of all, Bruce, welcome back. Welcome to Denver, Tim. What would constitute success for both of you guys individually? Obviously winning, the team winning, but how would you most want your season to go from a contribution standpoint?
I think my job, just for me personally, is just making everybody's life a lot easier. That's coming into the season, just focusing in on knocking down open threes, moving out the ball, taking charges. That's what I love to do. I do that. Chill. Top 5. Just being an energy giver. I think that would be a successful season for myself. And obviously staying healthy, being available.
For me, yeah, just staying healthy. I only played 42 games last year, so I'm trying to play as many games as I can this year. And then me defensively, this defensive end, just bringing the spark, energy, physicality, and just communication out there on the floor.
Yeah. Favorite part of the game? Is it shooting? Is it pick and roll play? Dribble handoff game? Like what would you say you most like?
I mean, I love shooting. Everybody loves shooting. But I mean, just the competition. You know, I mean, you're going in and day out, especially in this league nowadays. There's not a single night off. You're getting everybody's best shot, so you got to bring it every single game.
Bruce, way here in the back. Given that you said you never stopped wanting to be a Nugget again, what was it like watching from afar what happened last year in the late season coaching change and just kind of the turnover that happened late in the season?
It was super surprising, especially like 5 or 10 games before the playoffs. So super surprising. I mean, I loved Coach Malone. He was great for me when I was here, in my time here. But obviously they needed a change. I wasn't in the locker room the last year, so I don't know what was going on. But DA's been great. He was here when I was here, so I love playing for him. He took over a few games for Mike Malone. But I'm just happy to be back in Denver, man. It was a long 2 years, a lot of losing basketball. I'm trying to win again.
Bruce, this question's for you. With you leaving Denver and now coming back, what would you say was a part of the city that you kept with you throughout those years?
One, the organization was great. The locker room is always great for me, the chemistry that we have. And then the city, I could just be myself. Like, I can wear my West and wear my cowboy hats and just be myself, authentic self here. And I felt like everywhere else, it just felt a little weird and different. So I'm just happy to be back, man.
This is for Bruce. Obviously, you had a great appreciation for Jokic when you played here. How badly did you miss him when you were gone, and what did you miss most about him?
I just think, I mean, I've played with a bunch of superstars in my career, and he makes the game, I think, the simplest. Like, you know when the ball is coming and how it's coming, and even if the game's on the line where there's 2 seconds on the clock and he has a chance to score it, if you're wide open, he's going to give you the ball. So he just instills confidence in everyone out on the floor. And yeah, I mean, it was super tough leaving. just not playing with him and having the opposing team was always locked into him on the floor. So the easy buckets that I was getting when I was here, they definitely weren't the same everywhere else. So I definitely miss playing with him.
In the back, guys. Actually, two questions for you, Tim. The first, because Bruce talked about his Western wear. You played in Texas a long time. How's your Western wear collection? Do you need Bruce to help you out?
Yeah, he needs to help me out big time. I don't really have that much, but I know I'm in some great hands right here.
And then you were in Dallas as a teammate with JJ, and then he got on the staff, and obviously Jared was there.
Yeah.
Does it help having familiarity with coaches in terms of them knowing what you like and being able to communicate that to the rest of the staff?
Yeah, I mean, it helps tremendously, and I think that's what makes the decision to come here even more easy on myself. Just having familiarity with your peers and the coaching staff and some of the guys on the team, even though you played against them, you still have somewhat of a bond, and you know each other very well on and off the floor. So, it was a no-brainer for me to come here.
This question is for Tim. I think most people know that your dad was a terrific player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if there's one, and I know you've probably been asked this somewhere along the line, if there's one thing your dad said to you, one thing he taught you along the way of your basketball career that still resonates with you today.
I think one of the things, it's very generic, but it's go out there and have fun, enjoy the moment. It's plain and simple. He doesn't really try to sugarcoat anything or make anything real complicated. He's more of a straight shooter, straightforward guy. So just him telling me that goes a long way.
You played in a handful of different roles now in the NBA.
Yeah.
What have you learned in terms of what it takes to win and what makes you happy as a basketball player?
What was your first? I can't hear where you just said before.
Sure, yeah. You've played in a lot of different roles in the NBA now, or a handful of different roles. What have you learned in terms of what it takes to win and what makes you happy as a basketball player?
Just playing a lot of roles. Going to different scenarios, playing with a bunch of different head coaches. You don't really understand or get an idea of what they want until they actually are, implement their structure and implement their style of play to the team. And I always realized and felt that if the guys that pick up the quickest, pick up the coach's, style of play the quickest, will find themselves on the floor faster. So for me, wherever I've gone, I've just tried to stay the course and implement that in my game, and it helped me out tremendously.
Question for both of you. You both, knock on wood, have had mostly healthy stretches. Tim, you've played 12 seasons. 4 of the last 5, you played 70 plus. What are the things that go in as you're a veteran that you learn on how to manage the NBA regular season? Because it seems to be getting to be more of a grind as it goes along.
He played more years, so he should know.
Definitely sleep, a lot of sleep. Not many nights out, as if you were back in your early days when you were 20, 21, 22, when you could get away with it. None of that. Drinking a lot of water. Not saying you can't have fun every once in a blue moon, but you start to understand what's at stake and what matters most. So and at the end of the day, those early mornings don't feel good. You got to be able to wake up and feel recovered as much as you can.
For me, I've gotten one with the cold tub. It's helped me out a lot, especially through back-to-backs when I'm feeling very sore. Other than that, I get a lot of sleep.
So sleep in cold tub.
Yep, sleep in cold tub.
For Bruce, welcome back again. Besides Yoke and Maul and AG, how is the vibe that you've seen coming back here compared to where you left it, which was a pretty high bar, admittedly, but Like, where is that? Maul's talked about vibe. David's talked about vibe. Where do you see this team's vibe compared to, say, 3 training camps ago when you started?
Yeah, the vibe
journey?
is great. The vibe is at an all-time high. Everybody's on the same page. We know what the goal is. The locker room's been great. We're meeting out. Val came in today. Tim's been here. Cam's been here. So we've all been around. And we all know what we want to do at the end of the day.
Bruce, it's one thing for you to want to come back to Denver. Obviously, has to be a two-way street.
Yep.
What was your reaction when you kind of first got wind that they were ready to offer you, that they wanted to have you back? What were you doing in that moment? Were you kind of holding your breath at all?
I think I was on a plane actually flying here anyway. I think I was playing or going to play at Cherry Creek Country Club, I think in their bagpiper event. But I was on a plane and my agents called me and was like, hey, these are the teams that are interested in you. Here's the money situation and everything. And I was like, you know what? I don't care how much. If I get somewhere more, I don't care. I'm just going to go back to Denver because I just think it's a perfect fit for me, playing style. And I mean, I want to win again, right? So I think it was a pretty quick answer for me once I found out they wanted me back.
Your first time here, you played 100 games that season between regular season and postseason. You just mentioned availability, but one of the things that I remember about when you were here is your versatility. You played 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any clarity on what your role is going to be this time around, or are you just kind of prepared to be available and do whatever
I'm just prepared for anything. I don't really think I need to have those conversations. I think the way I've played throughout my NBA career, I can play 1 through 5, and obviously I'm not playing the 5 here, but I mean, whatever a DA needs me to do, I'm willing to do, and I've done it before, so.
Question for both of you. You guys have been on different teams and coming back both on a 1-year deal. Can you talk about what's the pressures like on the shoulders for both of you?
For me, there's no pressure. I mean, I think I've been playing on short deals the last 4 or 5 years of my career, so just I don't think about it much. I just go out there and do it. I know what I can do and what I'm capable of doing, and I think everything else will take care of itself.
I mean, we've been doing this for many, many years now, and this is what you work for. I mean, everything will take care of itself, no pressure. Just go out there and compete on both ends of the floor, just take care of your body, be available, and everything else will take care of itself.
Doug, none, Doug? All right. That's when I go to the ranch.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah, that's my guy right there.
Oh, okay, all right.
Hunter, I think you were part of the Los Angeles runs. Just kind of what stood out about that experience, and how beneficial do you think that is for a team that is kind of introducing some new pieces?
Yeah, man, I think it's super beneficial. Obviously, we have a lot of new guys, so for us to be able to make that trip together and play pickup against, obviously, NBA talent, and just kind of build that chemistry, you know, that we'll have going into training camp now, I think it was huge for us.
Hello. Okay. Spencer, coming off of your summer league, just what has been sort of the organization's emphasis to you in terms of what you can keep building on, and what sort of your role might look like between Grand Rapids and Denver?
Yeah, we haven't gotten too specific into that, but a lot of it's just been, improving my role as a defender, being able to guard 1 through 5, knock down open shots, just play the simple game, play off Nicola, be able to provide a spark on the bench and stuff like that. But in terms of, going up and down, I mean, it's usually how it is. Even if they have a plan, it sometimes goes awry. So I don't think too much about that.
Hunter, the question for you, just in this particular season? Just what are you hoping to accomplish? What's the next step for you in this process?
Yeah, man, I think for me it's just continue to grow. Whenever those opportunities present itself, just make the most of them, and just do anything I can to impact winning. Just try and help the team win. So.
In the back, Hunter, how do you, see yourself fitting in on this team and knowing that the ups and downs of a season, so what you're asked to do on a given night may change, or stretches without playing and then needing to come in and obviously knock down shots?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it's going to be. I think, just always staying ready, go into the season with the right mindset, treat every game the same like I'm going to play, and then, when the opportunities present itself, just make the most of them. So.
You guys were around this summer. Can you compare it to last summer? Was it different? More guys in the gym, different voices? Just kind of compare and contrast those two.
Yeah, definitely a lot more guys in. I remember, last year, at least for me, it was my first year. It was mostly young guys, but now, with a lot of new guys, a lot more vets coming through. Maul was in a lot this summer, and it'll definitely show. And it's great, obviously you had a new team, so you need to build that chemistry and everything like that. But it was also, a great show of leadership from all the guys.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, for me personally, I saw more of a leadership emphasis from the players, whether that be, Jamal, Tim, Cam, just guys that were here. Christian's been a lot more vocal this summer, so yeah, I thought it was a good summer for us.
A question for both of you individually. What's the one thing, Spencer and Hunter, that you worked on, that you wanted to get better at, that you knew you had to get better at? Spencer, start with you.
For me, mainly was, I know I'm going to be pretty much projected as 3-and-D guy, so it's just making sure I can defend all levels, show that consistently, and so, in scrimmages and stuff like that, we'd be picking up more full court, stuff like that. Did that in summer league, just show that defensive capacity, and then second was just keep improving on the shot, making it as consistent as possible.
Yeah, and for me, it's just, being more comfortable, just being able, different types of shots, whether that be shooting off the move or, just different ways I can find my shot in the offense.
This question's for both of you. With both of you all spending time with the Gold and the G League, how would you say that's helped you prepare for now facing more NBA play this season?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Obviously, being able to get those game reps as a young player, I think is really important, especially through stretches you might not be playing, with the Nuggets as much. Just being able to, as a first, second-year guy, just being able to get those game reps, get accustomed to the game. It's a different game than college, obviously. So you're doing the 24-second shot clock. The speed is a lot different. So just being able to get those reps down there, I think, really helps young guys grow.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big confidence boost in terms of letting you're good enough to play in this league and things like that. Like Hunter said, it's the best way to adjust. And once season starts, we're not playing too much 5-on-5 in practice and stuff like that. So that's a way to kind of stay on your game. So. Perfect.
What's going on, guys? Hey, Peyton, I know you worked out with Darrell Wright this summer working on your shot. What specifically did you change about your shot, and sort of what's the progress? How's that been going?
Just trying to be as technical as possible. I got naturally long arms, and that's one of my strengths out there on the court. But when it comes to shooting, it also just leaves a lot of range of motion, and there's room for error sometimes in that. So I've just been trying to decrease my range of motion as much as possible, play without a dip as much as possible, and kind of just limit that room for error. So just been doing a lot of that, and then also just the repetition and having quality reps with somebody who's played the game at the highest level. So Darrell was huge for me. I can't say enough good things about him. He was never late. He was always on time. We stay in the gym for hours just trying to get one thing right. So I definitely say the attention to detail was on another level this summer.
Curtis, what stood out to you about the summer workouts, being around the team? What's sort of the personality that you noticed of the group?
I was impressed. Like, everybody just seemed like good people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you get to this level, you never really know. People got egos and stuff like that. But everybody been real cool and very, like, welcoming, I say. So that's something that, you know, I'm grateful for.
Peyton, this question's for you. Just going into year 4 is a important part of your career, important part of your time here. Just what are you most excited? What are you most looking forward to improving in the 4th season and taking into this next year?
Just taking that next step in terms of everything, in terms of like being vocal, being a leader on this team, kind of transitioning from being a younger guy to one of the more experienced guys. It means a lot to me. I love this organization. They took me in as a 19-year-old kid, and here I am sitting here today, 23 years old. So they've just taught me a lot about the game, and everything they've taught me, I've retained it, I've took it in, and I've just tried to be the best player I can be for this team. But now I'm focused on taking that next step as a player, and just taking it to another level. My defense, I already feel as though I'm amongst the elite in the league, but I want to continue to show that and help this team win a championship that way. And then also just taking some strides offensively. It's been a huge summer for me, being here in Denver a lot, playing a lot, getting a lot of repetition, playing 5s, being on the ball a lot, shooting those shots, getting comfortable. And you just see with the team, the more they see me in here working on my game, the more confident they are in my game, and the more they see me putting in the work, the more they know I'm ready. So I'm excited to take that next jump.
Peyton, just regarding that, you know, the time that you've spent here, as much as you've grown so far, you have about a month to sign a rookie extension. Where do you feel like you are right now with the team on that, and how confident are you that you guys will be able?
I mean, we're just taking it day by day. For me, it's not necessarily, like I was telling John not too long ago, I got everything that I've ever needed and wanted. I got more money than I ever thought that I would ever make. So I'm not one of those guys who's ever played basketball for the money. I've always played it for the enjoyment and the love of the game. And it's put me in a position where I'm going to have the opportunity to make some money here in this league. But I'm young, I got a lot of time, I know that I'll make a lot of money in this league. For me, it's more so about doing things the right way, having an organization that embraces me as a player and the person that I am, and I think that Denver does that. So I'm happy with where we are as far as that's going. Obviously, there will be some progression, but you see around the league, a lot of people haven't done things yet. People with accolades, people, you know, really good players in this league. So I think that it's all about timing, and, you know, this is my race, and whatever it takes is whatever it takes. However long it takes is however long it takes, but it's my race, it's unique to me, and I'm ready for whatever. I mean, I don't follow it that closely. I think that we all get the information as it comes out. When you see Shams post that stuff with the money falling in front of people's faces, that I find out just like the rest of you guys. I don't got no inside scoop. I'm just a follower of the game just like the rest of you. So I'm wishing those guys nothing but the best of luck with their contracts, and just focused on myself.
Peyton, the new coaching staff that's come in, not just David, but the assistants in general, what's your relationship been like so far with that group of fellas? And what's the communication on the expectation for you this year?
You said with the new coaches?
Yeah, with the new coaching staff.
I mean, they've been great. They've been great. It's good that I've been here to spend a little bit of time with them this summer in the off season, and just get to know them getting to watch me play. Within the context of day-to-day, seeing my work ethic, seeing how hard I play and how seriously I take it on a day-to-day basis. I've had a super open line of communication with them all, and I think that they all genuinely do care for the team, the game, and they're here for us to be resources. We got some more players, coaches, and just those guys having that experience and being in these locker rooms really helps, because they can relate to what we're going through on and off the court. So I'm excited to get started with them.
Peyton, I'd like to get your thoughts on two things. You mentioned you came into this league at 19 and now you're 23. What's been the biggest challenge to grow up in this league at this level? And you've always been high energy, high intensity. What have you learned about maybe harnessing that energy so you can go 100 miles an hour without it being reckless?
Absolutely, yeah, I've learned a lot. I wouldn't say that this was necessarily challenging, but I think it's a growing process for everybody coming to the league. New guys like Kurt, he's going to learn this year, just the professionalism of the business, being early everywhere, not being on time. Being on time is late, so being early everywhere, taking it seriously, presenting yourself the right way as a young man, representing an organization, all that stuff that comes with the job that nobody talks about. They just talk about, I saw that highlight dunk you had, or I saw that highlight block you had, but a lot of people don't talk about the professionalism of the sport and what it takes to be someone that kids look up to around the world and things like that. But as far as, what was the second part of your question? Oh yeah, I'm super high energy, super high intensity. That's how I love to play the game. But one thing I've learned more than anything, as far as that goes, is taking care of my body, so I do have the energy to be able to have that output night in, night out. I think throughout my career I've been pretty durable, but I'd like to be even more durable. So this offseason I spent a lot of time working on my strength, my conditioning, and just making sure that my body can endure that level of intensity over the course of an 82-game season.
This question for Curtis. You got a deal late, pretty late with the Denver Nuggets. You had a fantastic summer league, particularly the last game. Did you feel any pressure in the summer league of having to perform to try to get the deal? And can you take us through when you found out that the Nuggets wanted to offer you a deal? What was that like? Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, I don't really feel no pressure, I'd say, coming in because there wasn't really too many expectations, I'd say. So I was just able to go out and play free. And I think that's what you see in that summer league. And, when they called me, actually my agent called me and kind of told me they offered. I was back home in Minnesota. And I was just, very happy, very excited because it was kind of a big deal, for me from where I started. Just to, get that contract, it meant a lot, and I'm very thankful to the organization.
Peyton, over here in the way back, you saw your role grow last year, and one of the main guys coming off the bench with more depth on the team this year. What do you see your role as coming into this season, and how do you try and maintain those same minutes, that same impact that you had on the game?
Yeah, I feel like with me, everything is onward and upward. I've learned the best way possible through vets, through great veteran coaches, through amazing GMs that we've had, just how to play my role and what the team needs and how I can carve out a role for myself. And now doing that, and that being said, I'm just focused on continuing to get better at what I already do and also expanding on some other things. I think that you can never be too helpful, especially in the game of basketball. And I'm one of those guys who's super versatile, and I can do a lot of things. So I'm just looking forward to continuing to expand my role, continuing to gain trust from the coaches, and trying to take this thing all the way. I know that a large part of our success will depend on me and some of the younger guys taking that next step and becoming super productive players in this league. And I don't feel any pressure to do that. I expect it for myself, and whatever everybody else's expectations are, I'm sure I'll be all right as well.
Guys right here, this is for both of you. A lot of people have talked about the runs in this building here in September and just the competitive nature of everything that was happening in this gym. Can you take us inside to those games, and then how important is it that the veterans showed up in large amounts here as well to provide a lot of that competition?
It was dope. It was dope for me. It's always good for me to be out there playing and sharpening my skills in the context of an actual game-like situation. You can't replicate those things with drills, and I think that playing is how you get better. So just having the veteran guys in and guys who have played in this league, who have the IQ, who know how to play basketball, it's just been good playing with them, and iron sharpens iron. So I was excited about it.
I agree with Peyton. It's been, really, it's been like you can tell it's a jump up, from the previous level as in college. Just the skill level, the quickness, the athleticism, like everything is kind of a level up. And I think it's good to, be in this gym and play against those guys because I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna keep getting better. So that's been good. And then, what was the second question again? Was there a second question? Oh yeah, that's really it.
Okay, Peyton, been a lot of conversation about vibes. Jamal, coach, were talking about it. Bruce was asked about it. He said it was an all-time high. What kind of gauge do you get on the vibes, and what is adding Bruce specifically back do to those vibes around this team?
I mean, everybody can smell basketball season around the corner. I think we're all excited. I know for myself, I'm chomping at the bit to get back out there. This is my livelihood. This is what I have fun doing. So when it's off season, I'm sitting at home bored waiting for the next game, and I'm sure it's like that for a lot of people. So we got a group of guys who, throughout my time here, we've all gotten along. The locker room has been super tight-knit, and Bruce was a part of that original locker room that I came into when we won that championship. So he knows our team knows him, and he's just an overall great dude. We're super happy to have his energy, and also just the way he embraces Denver and the team as well. I think that's huge. I think you get what you give, and he gives a lot of love, and he receives a lot of love. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for us, and it's going to be a big year.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all.
Question for Jonas. 1 month ago, you were competing in the FIBA Euro basketball, and it's 1 month later, and you're here for the preseason training camp. How do you feel like your body have recovered, like both physically and mentally?
Oh, I had 2 weeks off, so it's more than enough to recover. I feel actually more in shape than taking a whole summer off. Not competitive games, so I don't have no complaints. All good with my body, ready to go.
Welcome back, guys. For Julian, what has the coaching staff's message, if anything, been to you, knowing that they added a bunch of depth and competition to the bench?
I mean, they just told me that, it's an open competition, and obviously there's a lot of great guys fighting for minutes. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy that, we got a lot of depth on this roster, and there's a lot of guys that we can trust to go out there and make plays on a nightly basis.
For Jonas, welcome to Denver. What excites you about playing for this Nuggets team? And then David Adelman, in his media availability, said, yes, you will play alongside Nikola Jokic, or he would like to try that with two centers at the same time. What do you think of that, and does that interest you?
Well, the biggest thing excites me is opportunity to win. At my age, I gotta put everything to winning. I don't need to improve. I don't need to, impress somebody. I want to win. I want to do everything to win a chip. To go all the way. So I'm here to do whatever my role takes. I'm ready to do it, and we have a great opportunity to do this. So we just got to dive in, all of us.
But specifically about playing with two centers, is that something that interests you?
I'm just trying to see who's going to be 4, be 5.
Jonas, there was obviously a lot of stories this summer about your interest overseas, and sometimes those stories could be exaggerated. We don't know exactly what's going on. I don't even know how much you were aware of it. Is there anything that you kind of wanted to clarify about kind of your position as far as being here, your decision to be with the Nuggets?
One thing I want to clarify is I'm here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to dive in to do everything to win more games than ever. So I think we're in a great opportunity to to compete for the highest level. And yeah, it's a lot of work to do. Training camp starts tomorrow, so we have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of X and O's to clarify, but we're capable. We have a great group of guys individually, strong individually, and I think we are capable to do as a team because, in my opinion, team wins. It's not individual sport, it's a team sport. So we have great chemistry and we're going to go far.
Jonas, to follow up on that, if there was any hesitation after the trade for you, I don't know if there was, you can clarify if there was not, but what was that hesitation and how did you kind of get to the point where you were comfortable and happy to,
Well, I think just being here, I'm comfortable and I'm happy. If I'm not happy, I'm not going to be here, right? So I think we got to put everything behind us because it was history. Now we have a future in front of us. We gotta do our jobs to make this future even brighter.
In the back, Julian, when we saw you this summer, you said you were spending the entire summer in Denver, or most of it. So how beneficial was that for you? And then do you have, because Cam Johnson was asked about a number of games, like a goal for a number of games, and obviously it went up from 50 to 65 last year, but have you set a number in your head of how many games you want to be available for or play in?
I mean, I want to be available for all 82. I mean, that's my goal. I'm feeling really healthy. My body's feeling good. And, yeah, I think the summer in Denver was beneficial, just learning Coach Adelman's, all his little nuances and things that he wants to do in the offense, trying to learn new names, new terminology, all that type of stuff. So, yeah, it was a big summer for me, and I'm ready to, go out there and do whatever I can to help us win games.
Jonas, kind of dovetailing the Jokic and you playing together question. Coach Adelman also said he wants to push the limits of what you can be on the court as a player, and I wonder how exciting is that to know a coach wants you to expand your game to do more out there on the court?
Well, I think winning is you got to put extra steps towards winning. It's just average is not going to be enough. Good is not going to be enough. You gotta put something extra, something more towards the winning. So we're gonna work with the coach. Whatever he sees me doing on the court, whatever he wants me to do on the court. We gotta all believe in the system, in our group, and move forward. As I said earlier, it's a team sport. We gotta sacrifice something to be successful, more successful as a team.
This question for Jonas, I want to take you back for a moment. When you were growing up, were you always a tall fellow? And when did you realize that you were going to be bigger than the average bear?
Way back in the memories, right? I don't know. I've always been tall. Now I'm bigger on a weight scale. So yeah, I've always been tall. As a kid growing up, I've been tallest in the class, tallest around my same age guys. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question.
Julian, last year after your injury, it was hard for you to kind of break back into the rotation. Then you had that breakout game to kind of keep the season alive. What have your conversations been like with David about what your role is going to be, or like what you're expecting in terms of playing time?
I mean, those are conversations we ain't had, and those are ultimately things that'll be decided, once the season come around, and after we get through camp and everything, Right now, we just focus on getting everybody on the court, getting everybody acclimated to playing with each other. So I feel like, my individual. That's just something that we'll deal with when the time is right. I feel like all that stuff is still up in the air at this moment.
Question for Jonas here. I know you said your emphasis is on winning. From the outside looking in, I think a lot of people are excited about an element of toughness that you may bring to the team. Are we speaking for you, or what is it specifically that you feel like you can bring to the team that would add value?
Well, the toughness, you said it. I never back down from the contact. I never back down from, physical fight. So, also we gotta see how our game plan is. How we gonna operate on the court. What the coach wants us to do. Me specifically. So, I'm here to bring my A game. So, yeah, toughness is the probably most developed skills of me.
Jonas, between Memphis, New Orleans, and Sacramento the last couple of years, you've played against this team quite a bit. What's something that you've seen from the outside that really excites you about joining this group in the way and the style that they play?
So I can acclimate to the altitude and not be tired anymore. No, I'm joking. Well, this group been phenomenal number of the years. Winning the championship. That tells a lot about this group. And I think the core is still here. So why not roll the sleeves and do it again? So that's what excites me the most. As I said earlier, winning is everything for me right now. So if I can have a chance to do it, let's do it.
Jonas, this system that Denver plays obviously is based a lot around Nikola's passing. Your passing has always been underrated and has improved over the course of these last couple years, excuse me. Just where do you think that is as a part of your game, and where do you think you can add to the passing for the team at the big man spot?
Well, if I can see it, I'll try to pass it. Sometimes I don't see it, so I'm not going to try to pass it. So easy as that. Passing is its ability of passing and also having a connection between the guys. Knowing where the guy going to be. How's your teammate operates. Scouting your teammates. Same as setting the screens. Same as even rebounding. You scout those things and put everything together. I'll try to do my best job as I can.
Jonas, you came here to the NBA as a young man of 20 years old, and here you are 1,000 games and more than a dozen years later. Did you expect to have the career you had as a 20-year-old, and what have you learned about what makes a team a winner during that time?
Well, when I was 20 years old, am I expected to be here after 13 years? Probably not, but by hard work, dedication, sometimes putting everything aside and, and being a gym, being locked in. So that takes a lot, but here I am, and, I'm excited to go again, my 14th season, to jump in and, being in probably the best situation I ever had to win a championship. What did I learn over those years? Probably that's a team sport. I learned that that's a team sport, and sometimes you got to put your ego aside and put your everything aside to be successful. Sometimes you need to support your teammate more than you can support yourself. So those little things comes in together for the good teams, for the teams who's seeking to be the best. So sometimes sometimes you don't play, but you got to be most loudest guy on the bench and support your teammates. So that's what takes. That's what winning takes.
Jonas, what is your personal relationship, man to man, like with Nikola, who's kind of a different guy, here? And when you guys talked this summer, you told outlets you guys talked this summer. What'd you talk about?
Well, I think we're gonna have many conversations this year, and we're gonna have a lot of talk about everything. So, we just yeah, we know each other, but we never been on the same team. We never shared the locker room. We never been close day-to-day basis. You know, it's like family member right now. So I think we're gonna have more conversations in the future.
Julian, what can you tell us about Jared Dudley, JJ Barea, Rodney Billups, all the new coaches in the building this summer? What have they been like?
I mean, it's been amazing to have those minds in there, especially them, you know, being former great players and guys that played in the league and been in a lot of environments and been through a lot of things. So as a young player, you know, I'm just trying to be a sponge around them and, you know, soak up as much knowledge as I can and then, you know, just pick their brains, you know. I mean, they done seen so much. I mean, they're players that I watched when I was a kid and seen on TV. So it's cool to, you know, be able to be coached by them and have opportunity to, you know, have deeper conversations and things like that.
Nick.
Nicola, welcome back. We do this every year. This is your 11th media day. Just as we start this process once again, just what you think back on the 10 years that you've played in the league, just where you think you're at now and through this process and how much you have grown, and do you think back about that at all?
I mean, it definitely went fast. When you think about this, is 11th year. I remember coming here the first day and looking at the guys dunking and playing extremely fast in that moment for me. But seems like I figured out a way to stay in the league for such a long time. So, and it's something that you don't think about it. Like I said, you don't think about after. You're gonna think about it. It's 11, 12. How long every year is? It's a long period of time. Long period without time. Long period.
Nikola, what do you think of the moves the organization made this summer, and you know, kind of have you thought about that?
I mean, they definitely changed the team. Somebody asked me last year when we finished, do you think the team can win the championship? And I said no in that moment because we lost and we cannot. So this year is another opportunity. Of course, there is a bunch of my friends who left, DJ, Russ, Vlatko, Dario. So I need to find some new friends, you know.
In what way do you think the team most needs to be different this year? Like a personality trait or a character trait that they need to be different?
But I think sometimes it's just the energy, you know, not just players, the coaches, you know. I think the energy is something that really drives the team, and you know, we have some Bruce is back. We won with him. We need to save his career again. Then we have Cam, Tim, Jonas. You know, we have a bunch of new guys. We have Holmes healthy, and we will see. You know, it's a new energy, a new beginning for us, and hopefully we can do something.
Hey, Nikola, the NBA is finalizing. The NBA is finalizing its plans for the format for the All-Star game, and it's going to be the world versus American players. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
I really don't have thoughts. We will see when it happens. You know, hopefully it's going to be better, and the people are going to love it.
Hey, Nicola, over here. I know that there's a lot of change in the team this year. You talk about the last year. Someone asked to win a championship, and you think that it's not possible. But what do you think the team needs to bring from those past years and keep it to these new years, and get it to this new kind of era with you?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of, I'm going to say the core, but okay, Mike is gone, but I think the guys who won it, the year when we won it, we still have the guys here, and we add some guys that can really contribute on both ends of the floor, we even the size. So what we need to keep, playing style, I think we have a unique playing style, just sharing the ball. Last year we averaged like 30 assists per year, something like that, I don't know. So I think it's good when we play that way. It's hard to guard. And probably the thing that we need to do is more, it's probably talking, communication, do one more effort, just do the small things. I think the small things are the most important things.
Nikola in the back, two for you real quick. Big Val, Jonas said y'all talked a little. Does he qualify as someone that might become one of your new friends? And what language do y'all talk? Do you speak when you're talking to each other?
We speak English because we don't understand each other. Yeah, so.
And then
he's qualified to be my friend.
He qualified. Jamal said that because someone asked, what can you two do to improve, I guess, your chemistry? And he cited communication on the court, but also more so off the court. Do you agree with that, and what do you think y'all can do?
Yeah, definitely. Coach Pesci, the coach for the national team this summer, he said, you guys have a great communication off the court, but a little bit on the court is a little bit problem. So I think on the court communication is important, probably the more important, but off court communication is something that builds you to more a relationship, builds you more closer and more togetherness.
Nikola, welcome back. I've got two things for you. First, the NBA is changing its rule regarding heaves beyond half court.
My brother is very happy about it.
Sorry?
My brother is very happy about it.
Well, okay, why is your brother happy about it?
Because he told me to not shoot those.
Okay. What are your thoughts, independent of your brothers, when you saw that rule change?
I think it's good, I think because maybe players going to shoot more shots and going to be more highlight plays.
Secondly, you bypassed a chance to sign an extension with the team this summer. Josh Kroenke has said they plan to offer you the full amount available next summer. Do you plan to sign the extension next year?
I mean, I don't think about it. I think those contracts, extensions comes as a reward, as something that is natural to the sport, especially in today's NBA, how you see how the salary cap is growing and everything. So my plan is to be the Nuggets forever, so that's my answer. Nugget forever, or Nuggets, no.
In terms of your conditioning program, regiment in the summer, Joker, do the international tournaments help you, hurt you? Do you mind them at all? How do they impact your preparation?
I think it helps, to play different style of basketball, different type of version of basketball, different teammates, different rules. I think it helps, just to give you some other options, some other little small plays that you can learn, and you can learn even from every player that I play against in European Championship. So I think it definitely helps.
Nikola, it seems like you had a great time in China this summer. I have a few questions. What is the most memorable experience that you had there? And what is the best gift that you received? And what's your favorite food?
The duck was really good. The duck was really good that I tried in front of the Forbidden City. I like the temples. That's something that kind of, when I think about China, that's what I think about, like those with the rooftops and all those temples and the whole history. I was really excited, and I'm really excited to, when I go next time, to see more of that kind of cultural, historic sculptures, temples. That's something that I'm looking forward. And the best gift was the horse head of my shoes. I think that was cool.
You already have planned to go back?
Yeah, I don't know when, but I think I have a plan to go back, yeah.
Nikola, you've played with Valanciunas. You've played against Valanciunas for quite a while. What can he bring to the team? He's such a talented player.
Yeah, definitely a threat. Definitely kind of a little bit different version of me. It's kind of similar, but a little bit different. I think he's going to help us a lot with defensive rebounds, especially when we play against the small lineups, and he can attack those lineups under the basket. So, and he's veteran. He's 13. How old is he? How many years he in NBA? 14. But you know, he played with a lot of good players and a lot of good teams, so he can definitely help us with leadership.
Nikola, with you transitioning more into this veteran leadership position, how has that transition been now that some of the older vets have moved on to elsewhere?
Yeah, I didn't like that because I'm not a guy who talks a lot, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try to be better, and maybe that's something new that I can improve this year. You know, to be better leader, better vet, and to help the guys out even a little bit more off the court.
We have Cam stepping into Mike's role. Experienced guy, sharpshooter, brings a lot of pedigree to the table. What would you say are some of the best things that he brings to your guys' group?
I mean, I'm not going to say that maybe the role as a position, but I think that they're not similar players. You know, I think both are so unique, and both maybe Cam is a little bit more underrated and more under the radar. But since I think Phoenix, when is the first time I play against him? I really like him. He was I was really surprised how his release is really nice, like really pretty. Like I want to shoot like that. But I think he can help us with so much. Like his passing is underrated, his cutting is underrated. You know, so and just to get him in a real in the system, I think he's going to get even better.
Nikola, thoughts on the Joker 2?
Amazing. You should try it. It's good for the feet. It's comfortable. Try it. On sale, $199.
I don't want to interrupt your commercial here, but you were asking how old Jonas is. Now that you're 30 years old.
Don't mention that. We don't need to say that.
Okay.
We are friends. Like we don't need to be enemies anymore. So we're not gonna.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about numbers and years.
Okay. I'm talking about your numbers and years. Now that you're 30.
Yes, I don't like that.
Yeah. Now that you're 30, are you at the top of your game? Can you still get better, or is it all downhill from here?
We're gonna see in 24 days. Hopefully, I'm still on the same level, and we will see. I don't know. I didn't play an NBA game 4 months, 5 months, so we will see in 24 days. No, I don't. I still feel good. My body feels good.
Hello.
Welcome back, Jalen. What did this offseason mean to you, and what do you think you accomplished with it?
Yeah, I think it was a really good offseason. I was able to, go down to Houston and work out a little bit, and then came back to Denver like the last month. I met some of the guys down in LA and played a little pickup there. So really just working on my ball handling and a little bit more defense and, of course, shooting.
New coaches, what are they like? What's their personality like? Jared Dudley, J.J. Barea, Rodney Billups, those guys.
Yeah, it's good, just having a former player's point of view on the staff. And, little hints and clues they're given have really been great. And I think so far they're just teaching us the new system. So it was great getting up here early and learning the new terminology, especially from Jared.
During the last season, you credited Jamal Murray for some veteran leadership. We've heard a lot about that this summer. Did you see more of the same from him this summer?
Definitely. Jamal's been here basically all summer with us this year. So that's great. And, the way he's been playing and competing, I mean, he looks like he's ready, already in game shape. And, that's something we need going into the season to try and get off for a good start.
Jalen, last season you had a couple of really nice flashes, particularly with the triple-double. What do you need to do to earn some playing time on this very deep team?
Yeah, I think just really protect the ball, guard my position, show that I can switch and guard bigger players like that, and then, of course, just make open shots. Whenever I get an opportunity to go out there and play, do exactly what they're asking me and, try and contribute to a win.
Jalen, you were just talking about, the differences in terminology and staying here and being able to learn. How different is it? How much do you have to learn, compared to last season, compared to the seasons that you've been here?
Yeah, well, we got some new players, so we're already doing different things. And, with a new coaching staff, we're switching some things up. So just trying to watch as much film as possible is going to be key. And, Coach Dudley's already been sending film from, like, our little pickup and scrimmage games we've had here in the summer. So I think they're already doing a great job of telling us exactly what we need to know going into the season.
Jalen, I know it's kind of specific, but you've got a new assistant coach in J.J. Barea who spent a lot of his career as a backup point guard. So do you pick his brain on that and kind of the approach to being that guy until it's, you're called on for more?
Yeah, definitely. J.J. was really good, and, he was undersized, so just trying to see how he probed in the paint and, made his floaters and made the different reads he did. And then, contributed to winning the championship with the Mavericks. So I've been talking to JJ a lot just about what kind of pace I need to play with and, how to still dominate the game being, undersized.
Jalen, seemingly the opportunity's never been more there for you to play a backup point guard. I mean, last year you had two really great players in front of you. This year, it's kind of who knows right now. How have you approached this summer and going into the season knowing that there might be an opportunity for you to get real minutes this year?
Yeah, definitely a positive. I mean, whenever you get a chance to come, you got to be able to compete. And, Bruce won the championship here as a point guard, so as a backup. So, just learning from them and, picking up, just ready to get an opportunity. Just trying hard.
Specific points of emphasis for you in your conditioning this summer, either that you put into play or you heard from the coaching staff?
Yeah, trying to pick up 94. Just trying to wear out other guards and different things like that, and trying to take the load off, Jamal or Nikola. On the defensive end, just being more physical and picking guys up. We see a couple teams did that last year on the way to the finals, so just trying to be one of those guys who can pick people up a little bit.
Jalen, one of the things that OKC did last year, they won the title, that they had such a deep rotation and so many guys that they could trust and go to throughout the season and then into the playoffs. Just how important is it to stay ready in a situation like this, even with the depth that the team has added this year?
Yeah, so for the last couple of years, our starters have gotten a little worn down, so this year was really big on getting guys in who can play and just trying to be available for whenever the team needs us to play. It's going to be big to keep those guys fresh. So, being in great shape, picking up people, wearing them down, so we can kind of be the aggressors on the other end, then rather than people always, picking up Jamal, maybe we can pick up, Shea or, Ant or somebody like that to kind of wear those guys down too. Perfect.
How did the rest of your summer go after summer league, and how was it like just being able to play basketball, man?
Oh man, it's amazing. Just to be able to be here, working out. You know, last year I wasn't able to do that. I was doing a lot of PT stuff, so I'm just grateful to be in this position in the first place.
Duran, the opportunity for you as a young player to learn from Nikola Jokic, Jonas Valanciunas, and Aaron Gordon, three bigs who have done so much in this league. What does that do for you as a young player?
It can only help me, you know, going up against them, competing against them in training camp to start, you know, and then being able to see what they do in the games. And then when I'm out there, being able to replicate certain things and learn from them, and they're going to be able to teach me things that I can contribute. So I think it's going to be helpful for me in my long career.
Duran, in the back here, last year going into Summer League, the expectation was that the team was going to rely on you a fair amount in the regular season. Obviously, you get hurt, so that gets, you know, pushed to the side. They've made some acquisitions, so how do you see your role, or what have they communicated to you as what they want from you now that you're healthy and ready to go, but they may not need you as much as they might have thought they did a year ago?
And that just shows how great our team is. We have a winning team. You know, we have a lot of great players. And for me, it's just about being able to play alongside those great players and contribute when I need to. I think I'll be used as a tweener in certain situations for the most part, but we'll see as it goes, you know. So I'm excited for whatever role I get, you know, just being able to talk to the coaches and see where that goes. But my goal is to bring energy and play as hard as I can and be a winner.
Duran in the far back over here. What are the emotions like for you after missing your rookie year, having, you know, rookie year part 2, getting to play in the NBA for the first time this season? What's it like getting ready to start that first season for you right now?
It's like when you start your first season for anything, like high school, like college, you know, and this was my lifelong dream. So just being able to be here in the first place, I'm grateful. I know I missed all of last season last year. I had to watch it all from the sidelines. So being able to go into technically my rookie season is something I'm very excited about.
Duran, to piggyback right on off of that, you just mentioned a little bit of that in your last answer. You were able to sit and watch a lot, and I wonder what you learned just from observing and traveling a little bit, and that you can apply so that this rookie season isn't necessarily your first go around at every single thing.
Right. You know, you can still learn a lot even though you're not playing. It's not exactly the same thing, but a lot of the preparation stuff is what I'm talking about in terms of how I can be ready. You know, so just scouting report execution stuff, knowing when to be where, you know, knowing how to do things in the why part is, it was pretty cool to be able to see that last year, and now I can bring that into this year.
Duran, what have we not seen in your game from Dayton that you've been working on the last however many months since your injury has been healed?
Honestly, I feel like I'm an all-around player. You know, I feel like I shoot the ball very well. I think you guys have seen that. I'm very good at passing the ball as well, I believe. And just being able to be a guy who talks loud on defense, you know, being able to do everything. I just want to be a Swiss Army knife and help out in any way I can on the court. You know, that's my goal. For me, it's not always about scoring, it's about winning. I just want to be a winning player.
Duran, right here. When you're scrimmaging with the big guys on the court, the veterans, the really good guys on this team, do you feel like you're at that level, or are you a little bit below and trying to catch up to the NBA stardom guys?
Just like with anything, you know, if you're going against somebody who's been in the same situation as you, they've been in your shoes before, and they're like in year 10, 11, 12, they're going to have the advantage, if we're being honest. But I still see myself being able to compete right alongside of them. You know, I think I bring things to the table that are actually helpful. And it's just like on the flip side of things, I think for me there's things that I can do that maybe as, you know, like it's like a freshman going into college just has more energy when he's playing on defense than sometimes the seniors, you know. So I just think it's different things that we all can contribute, and my youth is going to have a factor in that.
Duran, so much about being a winning team is making sure everybody 1 through 18 is as locked in and pushing each other to be the best version of themselves. Just what do you think you could do, even if it's not playing every single night, just to make sure the team is as ready as they can for what's a really important season?
Honestly, just being able to support my teammates, being able to see what I can work on myself, and also what the team needs. You know, so just in case, like, if there is a night where I don't get as many minutes as I would probably appreciate, you know, just being able to go in there and do whatever I can to help, regardless of what the score is, regardless of what it looks like, just being a winner. That's what winning is about. Thank you, guys.
These workouts, how did the workouts go this summer with the team, and what's kind of the vibe around everybody?
I mean, the workouts went really smooth this summer. I mean, we got a veteran-led group, so I mean, everything went well. We got a lot of work in, got better for sure, so definitely some good work leading up to training camp.
Tamar, Spencer being from Kansas City, and then Christian as well. Does it help having kind of that familiarity, and how much have you reminded Christian that you did, in fact, beat Kansas?
I say, first of all, I love your hat. Secondly, to answer your question, it's great to have familiar faces of guys that I grew up watching play, them both being 2 years older than me. Like when I was in middle school, I was going to their high school games and watching them play, and then eventually playing against them, and obviously just following their journeys as they've been here. So just seeing how successful those two guys have been in this organization, and then me joining, it's definitely been a lot easier, one, to transition, and then two, just to see somebody where I'm from have success in Denver.
Tamar, obviously you're probably going to spend a pretty significant time going back from Denver to Grand Rapids and just trying to improve the game as much as possible. Just what have those conversations been like with whether it's Ben Tenzer and John Wallace or Ryan Bone, who's going to be the main guy down there? Who do you look to in those situations?
I mean, obviously Rybo was like my first point of contact, given that he's my head coach. I'm in Grand Rapids, but I mean, it's just looked at as a tremendous opportunity to continue to develop. Just because, I mean, I'm a rookie, played 4 years in college, but I'm nowhere near a finished product. So I'm really excited to be able to be on a team where I can just continue to just play my game, play through mistakes, and just continue to get better in GR.
Tamar, you had a good run in Summer League, and you've always been known as a good shooter. I'm wondering if the distance from the college line to the professional line, was that much of an adjustment for you, and how are you dealing with that?
I mean, any change like that is definitely an adjustment, so I'd be crazy to say no, but I mean, I could probably find a few clips where I accidentally shot an NBA three in college just because I was just off the line. But I mean, I've adjusted pretty well to it. But when you throw 5 defenders out there and they got a 40-inch vertical and they jumping at you while you trying to shoot a three, then that's a whole different thing. But I mean, just shooting a wide open NBA three, I feel like I've adjusted pretty well, and I'm continuing to adjust. So it's not too bad. On top of the fact that I got to shoot with a whole different basketball. But it's been great, though. It's been not too hard of an adjustment. The basketball is more of an adjustment than the actual three-point line. I mean, it's just it took me a month to really get used to it. When I started pre-draft, the ball just felt super slick. I was using working hands, and then I didn't sometimes. But I've gotten adjusted to the basketball now, too. Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Hey, Zeke, just going into year 6 now, what are you taking from last year into this year as good things that you're hoping to continue through with, and some things that you'd like to continue to improve upon?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, we shocked a lot of people with how far we made in the playoffs. I think that we knew what we were capable of, and I think it's just building off that. I think we have so much more confidence this year. I think we're more together than ever, and we have more depth too. So I feel like really looking forward to just building off of that, you know.
There's been a lot of changes within the coaching staff, not just David, but the new assistants that have come in. What's your relationship so far been like with the new coaches in the staff?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great. I mean, they've been at pretty much every, like, practice that we've had so far. I know they haven't been, like, official, like, practices, but they've still been here, showing face, teaching us things, getting new philosophies in and instilled in us. And so I think that, you know, they've been great, great communicators, great, and just cool guys to be around too. So yeah.
Zeke, in the last few years, it feels like, I think you've said you feel more comfortable playing 4. It feels like most of your opportunities have come at the 5. With the new coaching staff, have there been any discussions about kind of what your role will be in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be more 4, but I mean, at the end of the day, however I can help to win, I just want to play, I just want to win, and I just want to help us to win. And I think that's the goal. I mean, we have so much depth and we have so many pieces this year, so it's like whatever you're going to play that's the biggest thing.
Zeke, just to piggyback off of that, you talked about the new pieces on this basketball team. How excited are you to see this team kind of form whatever it's going to do ultimately over the course of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. I mean, the runs that we've been having have been super competitive, and we've been mixing the teams up a lot. So, like, everyone's been kind of playing with everyone, and so we're seeing, like, we're getting a good feel for playing with everyone, and it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I think this training camp is going to be super competitive, and we got a lot of talent. It's just going to make us all better.
Zeke, Coach Adelman mentioned how all spots are open, nothing's guaranteed, perhaps with the exception of Nikola Jokic. Do you feel like you'll have more opportunity under David Adelman than you did with Michael Malone?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think so. I mean, I think it's all depends on how I play, and I'm just ready to come out and make an impact right away. I think that with the new coaching staff, it's a fresh start, clean slate, and so I think that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. So yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, guys.
Is he coming? All right. Let me move this way.
Yeah, you're right a little bit. Thanks, man. All right.
Christian, do you feel like an old man yet in this league?
Yeah, actually a little bit. I feel like I've been in here for a while. Year 4 sounds crazy. I can't believe I'm in year 4, but definitely not an old man. It's a long time. Try 12. I want to try 12.
As long as you want.
The overall improvement and like coming into the season, and coach also mentioned that it's more competitive, like within the team. Where do you see yourself like in the development?
Yeah, I think each year I got to prove myself. I think that's the most important part. You know, coming in, like you said, like Coach said, I think that our team's so deep. You know, last year, you know, play good, play bad. I knew I was going to play a ton of minutes. I think this year we got guys that can come in and play. So, every single night I need to be ready to play. I need to prove myself in training camp and practice, and just be ready to play every single night. And I think that's a good thing for us. We're going to have guys that can play, guys that do different things. So, I'm really excited for that.
Welcome back, guys. AG, I saw in an interview you did with 361 over the summer, you said, this is the best I've ever been at basketball. You know, do you feel like, you know, you're still in your athletic prime, probably smarter than ever. Is this the moment you look at and think of your career, your age, where everything kind of is at the peak at the same time?
Yeah, definitely wouldn't say athletic prime. I was jumping over mascots when I was 22. But I think there's a point where like the IQ and your skill set and your athleticism all kind of meet at a certain level, and that's what I feel I'm at.
How long did the hamstring issue that you were dealing with in the playoffs, how long did that linger into the summer, and how did that affect your offseason?
Not much. You know, I took probably 3 or 4 weeks off, and then when it was time to come back to train, started slow, started with spots and a little bit of movement, but then by the time I was ready to train again, it was already healed.
Aaron, between Jonas, Cam, and Tim, and obviously you know Bruce pretty well, a couple guys that have been around in the league quite a while. What's your relationship with those fellas in the league, and how do you see them integrating into your team?
High character guys on this squad, top to bottom. You know, we got good people, good players, and guys that want to win, guys that care about basketball. And yeah, I mean, they can hoop. You know, so when it comes down to it, they're ball players. They understand what we're looking to do, and I think they're going to fit in seamlessly.
You guys won 50-plus games, but you both expressed frustration throughout the season with the defensive end. You've got new coaching staff here in place. Do you guys want changes made to some things, or do you want to be able to have like a better sense of consistency and know exactly what you guys are going to be doing going into the season?
I don't know about, I think just effort, you know, every single night. I think that last year, like we said, I think we're deeper this year, and I think that's good for our effort. Every single night we're going to have energy, and we have guys that are injured and whatnot, but I think we've always had a good, you know, what do you call that, like frame for defense. We've always had a good idea, and then in the playoffs we're obviously, you know, always a little bit better. I think we raise our level, but I think if we can get to a point where we're playing at that playoff level every single night, you know, we're not trying to outscore teams. I think that, you know, that'll be good for us, and try to blow teams out a little more, you know, this year. And I think that starts on the defensive end, and when we're playing defense, you know, we're the best team in the NBA typically. So just trying to be more consistent with our effort, be more consistent. I think that JD's done a really good job already of, you know, we had some different things, but a lot of it's the same stuff, and a lot of it's just effort. So as long as we can do that consistently each night, you know, we got a really good chance.
Yeah, I think if we get to about around top 10 defensively, it's going to put us in a position to win it all.
Maul and Bruce Brown, among some of the other guys, have talked about how, you know, winning is paramount. It feels like there's a bit of a refresh in the air entering into this season. Just curious, after the last 2 years for both of you, is there anything you identified? They say hindsight's 20/20, that maybe it was lacking from the last 2 years that you're trying to get back to that you had with that championship run?
I think you can kind of point at whatever you want to point at, blame whatever you want to blame. But I think that, most importantly, this year is everything we've asked for, everything everybody in this locker room has wanted, we have. And everything we need is inside our locker room right now. We have new energy, new coaches, new players. We got shooting, we got defense, we've got literally everything we've ever asked for, we have. And so I don't want to look back and try to blame whatever it was last year or the year before that. Let's just go do it this year. I think that's the biggest point. Make sure it's a no excuse year. There's not many opportunities. We're going to have a team this talented and this deep, so we got to take the most out of each opportunity and make the most out of this team that we have this year.
Last season, you are the player with the most fast break points. Have you ever thought about that when you enter the league? And this season, you're definitely going to face more defense from opponents. How about your confidence level in accomplishing that again?
Yeah, I think last year that was a big thing for me. Obviously, it helped our offense when Yoke was kicking it ahead. And when these guys were out, I think sometimes I got to get out and run. I think it's big for our offense is finding the corners and finding Cam Johnson in the corner for threes. And whatever, he shot 43% from three last year too. So I think it maybe collapsed the defense for those guys. And if I can find a way, to help those guys on that end, that's what I try to do. And running a fast break last year was the biggest way I could do that.
Aaron Gordon, this question's for you. So 361 just released a sneak peek of the AG6s. How much goes into the design, and how much do you have as far as the influence goes on what those come out to be?
A lot. We do a lot of creative direction, and they do a good job of, taking my advice and taking my input and coming out with a shoe. So I send them a lot of retros. That's what it comes down to, like just shoes that I grew up playing in. Whether it be up tempos or I don't know, old school Adidas, like just picking and pulling from a lot of different shoes from what I've worn as a kid, and then so this is what I want, and then they do a great job of going into my background and who I am as a person and kind of bringing it all together and putting it into a shoe.
Christian, so for you, you've been all over social media in the gym lately. So what would you say you're looking to add to your game going into this season?
I think everybody across the league, in the summer is trying to improve on, whatever it is. I think that three-point volume is something people are going to look at. Trying to keep that percentage high and shoot more threes. But for me, I say the same thing every year. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to take what's open for me and what's good for this team. I'm not a guy that's ever going to end up just chucking up threes. I think that I try to play to my strengths. Try to do what I can to make this team be as good as possible. And so just doing the same things as I always do, trying to be good at what I'm good at and not trying to be anybody else but myself.
Aaron, you had incredible improvement in your three-point shooting last year, way over 40%. A lot of the credit was given to you working out in your gym, on your court, in your house. I'm wondering how much of that work did you do this summer? How many shots did you put up? Can you take us through that?
A lot. I put a lot of shots up this summer, but more so I worked on my body, because I don't think I was on the floor enough last year. So that was the majority of my focus, was making sure that I'm ready for the marathon.
Aaron, right after you won the championship, you sat down there and said Brucey B wasn't going anywhere, but then of course he did. How happy are you when he decided to come back? How much of a role do you think he played, and what's he done since he's been back to help, bring up the vibes?
Listen, if I was the one that said Brucey B not going anywhere, I was bullshitting. Brucey B had to go get a bag, but he loves it in Denver, and we love him in Denver, and he's a champion, and he's looking to put a 2-time in front of his name.
For both of you guys, there's been a whole bunch of talk today about just the vibes are at an all-time high, the camaraderie in the locker room is fantastic. What are you guys seeing this year compared to the start of seasons years past?
I would say what stuck out this summer, I think everybody kind of says that when you're in training camp, so it's more about what you do. But I think this summer, I think the talent in the gym has kind of stood out to me. The guys we've had here, the pickup games, whatever it is. We've had a ton of guys here, and I just think the talent level has been at an all-time high. And whoever's been here has played well. Guys are putting in the work, and just like I said, everybody kind of has the same talks at training camp. It's more about what you do as a team. When that time does come, we got to win games, and that's all that matters.
Christian, you were able or eligible for a contract extension this summer. Is there any frustration that it hasn't happened yet, or kind of what's your outlook going into this season?
There's no frustration. I think that it's going to happen. At some point, whatever happens, happens. And I think that the most important part is I need to show up and do my job. I think that's kind of how I've always been. So that doesn't change. I think that I owe it to these guys. I owe it to the city of Denver. I owe it to these people to show up and do what I do. Continue to work hard. Continue to put the work in. And all that stuff will take care of itself. And I know that.
Aaron, you had that great shooting year last year, obviously. You've obviously also become this very versatile, smart connector, passer, playmaker. But obviously on this deeper team, there's a lot more guys that can fill those roles. How do you balance between being that shooter, the scorer, versus like being more classic Aaron Gordon, bully ball, or especially over the course of a long 82-game season?
I'm going to just turn up on defense. So we have so much talent on the offensive side. I'm not even really worried about it. That's going to, like what CB was talking about, I'm going to just take what is open for me and do what I can to take the pressure off of us if the game gets stymied or whatever. But really, I'm just worried about defense. I'm going to just turn up on that end of the floor. And, let the cards fall where they may after that.
Christian, just piggybacking on that, just with the extension talks, like when this sort of thing starts to come up, your second contract, obviously there's a financial element, but also sort of a, maybe not sentimental element, but just where you want to be. Have you started to just sort of think about long-term future with just like wanting to be part of the Nuggets core for the foreseeable future? Or like, how do you kind of envision, I guess, the long term for you in your career in the NBA right now?
Yeah, I think obviously everybody thinks about it. I don't want to be anywhere besides being a Denver Nugget. I think everybody knows that. Like I said, I think I owe it to these guys. I owe it to the team, to the city, to continue just to approach the game the way I always approach it. I'm not going to worry about that stuff. These guys don't owe me anything. I need to put in the work and make sure I earn it every single day. And whenever that time comes, if it comes, that's great. But like I said, I'm going to show up and do the same things I've always done. Approach the game the same way I always approached it, and let all those things kind of fall, how they fall.
Yeah.